Hello, Tony here for the 6th video. Really getting up there in the videos, huh? Anyway, I forgot to show you the documentation for the collision. This is one of the things I do have a fair amount of documentation for. Right, anyway, so we've got our basic diagram, and this is essentially going from the code here. It's the idea is that you look at this and like, okay, that's how I set up all the things, sort of like your overwhelming demo. And then you look down here and you're like, well, what else? What else does this entail? Here's a fake mycene initialize function, which has or tells you like how to set a collision pair and how to set self or a collision with self, and tells you what the difference is, and gives you an example of like some other stuff you might have in the initialize. Right. So then, short description of the next part here. We've got using a say a bullet class as a example, because obviously it's going to have collision, because what else would you do with a bullet except collide with things and impart kinetic energy upon them? So of course you would want to set a model with it and collider group, and of course you're going to want those collision, or these are the user-defined collision functions. As you see, creating code for when a collision happens would look like this. Yeah. Oh, and I got keyboard input here. I forgot to show this too, way before. Well, doesn't really matter. I'm not going to give any points for documentation anyway. But this page does. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue on with the next part, which is game object lifecycle. I need to not take too long this time. Right. So here we are. We've got our game object, all the includes and inheritance. Of course, it has its attorney for the registration with the commands. Commands can access private functions, connect to scene, disconnect from scene. Right. So submit, entry, and exit, protected, of course, and of course the user, which I probably could have listed as private, but potato potato. They usually end up getting defined to private anyway. So we've got our game object CPP file here with the already super familiar grouping of registration stuff here. I did add a bit to this assert here so that it doesn't go off when you have multiple calls on the same target. And then I have got an if statement to catch that, so that it won't keep calling scene exit multiple times. Like when a bullet goes through something and it, like my bullets, for example, usually call this function, or try to call this function about 3 times before they get through to the other side of the tank. So instead of calling the deregisters 3 times and breaking the game 3 times, we have this here. So yeah, I don't know if there's a way to do this more efficiently, but this is the way that I came up with. Probably not the most efficient way, usually isn't, but at least it's only about like 3 calls per like collision of the if statement. So could be worse, could have multiple if statements. Right. Anyway, that's the object life cycle. Yes. What else should we show? I guess I'll show an example of that. Might as well. I don't know if I really highlighted it before, but let's just look at like the bullet. Yeah. Right. Actually, let's even go a little spicier. We'll go the enemy bullet. I have two different ones because I didn't want to mix up the try mixing up the templates and stuff. So I figured it'd be easier to have two different ones in the user side. Yeah. So what was I looking for again? Right. Scene entrance. So we got our scene entry here. Is they moved the whatchamacallits, the registrations in here so that to properly organize things, and also for practical reasons. And of course we have scene X in here, which also includes destroy the bullet, which is called by colliding with the player tank, which actually doesn't happen in the current demo, so such is life. But the regular bullet, which is the one the player shoots, collides with the enemy tank, and as you've already seen multiple times, well, I suppose not multiple times, but we can do a little bit of shooting. Bloop, bloop, bloop. It does things. And down here you can see that the bullets are being nude and recycled properly. The first two were like the first one happened and the second one got shot before the third before the first one hit its target or hit the time limit before it disappeared. So therefore, two new bullets, which then got recycled before the next one. Yeah. Anyway, such is life. Actually, did I show the bullet factory, which takes advantage of the whole system here, the life cycle? Right. We've got our initialize here, which calls the scene entry. Yes, which is a private function on the bullet, I believe. Yes, they're defined as private. Yeah. So yeah, as most things should be. That's the initialize basically handles the world matrix and whatnot because it takes in arguments and does the submit entry for the other things here, which get called when it's recycled, whereas these things do not get called when it's recycled. Or actually, no, they do. They do get called when it's recycled, but it's sort of a like they need to have this information separately, and it just is. This is a better way of doing things than lumping them all together, I think. Yeah. Anyway, that's life cycles. Yay. Game object life cycles. Must allow object to enter scene. Check. Through command pattern. Check. I think I showed the commands. Did I don't think I didn't show the commands. What am I doing? I mean, they're very simple. They've got their big four and their execute, and of course the game object that they are tied to. That's about it. Then they call the proper registration or deregistration, as you might expect. Do. Got the exit entry. Yeah. Anyway, that should suffice for stopping purposes. Loop. All right. Yeah, I don't believe there's much on the documentation front for this part, other than what's in game object here. A few of the classes might have, a few of the functions might have descriptions, but probably not nearly enough. Anyway, sprites. Do we want to go into sprites, or should I cut it off here? I think I'm going to cut it off here, and then we'll do sprite fonts, sprite frame. Probably just go through everything else in the next video. Right.